Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 16, specifically days 1 and 2, preview and predictions. And to be completely transparent, the reason we're only doing nights 1 and 2, while we will be live reacting to all 3 nights, is because we just don't know enough of the people on night 3 to be able to properly predict or have any clue what the hell's going on there. Because we know a few of them, like we know, Katsuyo Nakajima, we know Keiji Muto, obviously. John, I don't know how familiar you are with Go Shiozaki, but he's a guy that I've become a little more familiar with. We know Naomichi Marufuji, but that's like a grand total of maybe 4 or 5 guys, or maybe even 3, out of a grand total of like 30 or so, 20 plus at least, on the entire card. So there's no way that we're going to be able to predict that. But we know New Japan pretty damn well. So we're going to try and preview and predict the first 2 nights because those are exclusively New Japan nights, with one very small but absolutely not minor exception, that being night 2 featuring the Stardom match. It's the one match on the entire first 2 nights that isn't a New Japan match. So, John, obviously, the New Japan Rumble happens every year, and that's going to be on the pre show. It's going to be like the dark match for night 1. Participants to be announced. And the way that that'll work is rather than there actually being a proper winner of that match, all that it is if you make it to the final 4, the match ends, and then night 2, those final 4 compete in a 4-way match for the provisional King of Pro Wrestling 2022 trophy.
Yes. Just to take a step back here, if I may, and just surveying this Wrestle Kingdom, 3-night event, and again with emphasis on nights 1 and 2, which we're covering. I always like to just give a preliminary hype rating and this and that. And I gotta be honest, really being thoughtful about this card and everything else, I think I sit at a 6, maybe a 6.5 out of 10. I'm really underwhelmed by most of this card, if I'm truthful, including, I never really care about the KOPW stuff, which you just mentioned. I honestly think my hype is driven exclusively by Shibata's return match, which is going to be historic to witness.
Yes.
I honestly think that match is going to be one of those things where you'll want to be there. And if you're there live, I envy you because that'll be something that you legitimately remember forever. And apparently it's being wrestled under catch wrestling rules. That's where I parked my car.
Yeah.
And the Stardom matches. Because here's the thing. The
One
world
match, by
title.
the way, just one.
Oh, just one match. Well, yeah. Regardless, it's really those 2 matches that drive my hype because I look at the world title situation. I don't feel good about it because I feel like Ospreay is going to leave the champion. So I can't get too hyped, right, about Okada potentially winning the title if I feel like he's not even going to keep it. A lot of tag matches here that I'm just kind of underwhelmed by, even though the talent's exceptional. I'm going to be honest, too. Hiromu still going after the junior heavyweight title. I feel like he's been above that title for the last few years, and we keep ending up here. I think Hiromu Takahashi is a brilliant talent, and it kind of disheartens me that, again, he's in this situation. I know he's going to make the best of it, just like Ishii with the never open weight division, which, again, that doesn't make me feel good either, especially when his challenger is fucking evil. Just and then we're still Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. still the tag champions, but it's against Goto and Yoshihashi, who I really don't give a fuck about. Like, yeah, I gotta keep it consistent, guys, and I've learned to be more honest ever since I've really encountered wrestling that I deeply, deeply love. With Stardom, this is an underwhelming card, and I think the best thing that can happen is, that it's kind of Okada kind of coming back to form is what I'm hoping for. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I just wanted to say that I'm at a 6 out of 10. I think I'm going to go with the lower number. I said 6, 6.5. I think I'll stick with the 6. How are you feeling about this Wrestle Kingdom as a whole when you survey this card?
Much more positive than you, very clearly. So I am excited about Yo versus Show. I'm excited about Shibata's return match. I am, to some degree, at least somewhat excited about the final 4 matches on both shows, actually. Um, not super excited about the tag match on day 1. That's like out of the 8 matches that make up the final 4 matches on both shows. the world tag match is like the one that I care the least about for sure. But if you look at the final four matches on both shows, Ishii, Evil, obviously, neither one of us is a big fan of Evil, but where Evil belongs is the never open weight division. And Ishii is obviously the fucking king of that shit, and this, I think, is still going to be a good match. Obviously, like I already said, Dangerous Tekkers versus Chaos. Only reason that I don't give a fuck about that is because Yoshihashi's in it. If it was Goto and Yano, I'd be super into it. If it was Goto and basically anyone else from Chaos who makes sense in a match like this, I would be into it. But Yoshihashi's just garbage. Fuck, I mean, even if it was Goto and Master Wato, for fuck's sakes, I'd be more into this than I am with it being Yoshihashi. Despi Hiramu, I know that you think Hiramu is above this, but he's still very small, which means that he still belongs in the junior division. And in my opinion, he should be the king of the junior division. So as long as he is able to stay healthy, which seems to be the biggest challenge for Hiramu, I will never tire of seeing him in the junior heavyweight championship contention or holding it. Shingo Okada, very excited for that. Sanada Okan, very excited for that. Naito Cobb, excited for that. Kenta Tanahashi might be the New Japan match on day 2 that I am most excited for that's already set in stone, because the other one is whoever wins the main event of night 1 versus Ospreay. And if that does end up being Okada Ospreay, that would overtake Kenta Tanahashi as my most anticipated match of night 2. That is a New Japan match. So I'm excited for a lot of stuff on this show, on these shows. But it's not all sunshine and daisies. It's not all great. There's some shit to trek through. And that includes the fact that Yoshihashi is challenging for the IWGP tag titles. That's a bunch of garbage. It's stupid. I hate it. So, John, if you don't have anything else to add or say, we can get into our actual predictions for the show.
Yeah, I do have questions for you, but I think
Okay.
it'd be appropriate to pose them when we come to those matches. So let's get into it, man.
Well, actually, you know what? I'm glad that you kind of made me pump the brake a little bit in my own mind, because I never gave a number. I think I'm at about a 7.5 or maybe an 8 out of 10.
Wow, so you might be a whole 2 points above me in this case. Yeah, that's good though, man. I'm glad one of us is really hyped about this, because I can't get there. I will say though, I'll revise my rating slightly. We'll say that you lead me by a point, because I don't think I'm giving Kenta Tanahashi the respect that they deserve. That should be a really great in-ring bout, and Kenta's just fucking hilarious as a heel. So I will say that I'm at a 7 out of 10 because of those guys, but really, man, that's as high as I can go, if I'm being honest.
Bro, you know how much I get behind Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom shows? I'm rooting for Kenta in that.
Yeah, he's so good. He says IKEA properly. All right, let's get into this card, man.
Do you even want to try to predict the New Japan Rumble and the KOPW
I
stuff?
never do. I never do, because it's just.
Let's just get into the first match on the listed card then. Yo versus Sho.
Okay, this is my first question for you right out of the gate, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I was surprised when you said that you were looking forward to this, because I know for a fact we didn't like their first match, just based on our reactions. We were so unenthused about it. So why are you more optimistic this time? Like, what changed?
Because Yo won the tag league, so I think Sho's going to win this.
Okay.
Or not the tag league, the BOSJ rather.
Yeah.
Or he won his block or something like that. He's coming off of like really big success in BOSJ. And it's like, I feel like these two are like very like ebb and flow, and when one ebbs, the other flows. And I feel like Yo is kind of on his way down, which means Sho is on his way up. You know what I mean?
Here's my thing about this match. First of all, yeah, I do get what you're saying. Here's my thing about this, because I don't want to be grumpy the whole fucking recording. Nobody enjoys that, least of all me. So I know these guys have a good match in them.
Yeah.
I just don't know what went wrong the first, because it just felt so slow. And this and that. Like, I would like a high-energy affair between these guys, given that they're both
high
juniors.
Voltage.
Exactly. You know, Sho could do maybe some cheating. Like, I'd like to gain an advantage when it gets, like, really fast-paced. Maybe, like, a simple thumb to the eye or something. You know, make the cheating more subtle. It doesn't have to be overly aggressive. Like, oh, look at me doing all this stuff on the outside to your knee. I feel like that's kind of done to death.
I think I know why their last match was clunky, and this one might be as well.
Why is that?
Because they're in their unnatural alignments. Sho is a natural babyface. He's got fire. He's got passion. Yo is a natural heel. He's a pretty boy. He's like a fucking Shawn Michaels wannabe.
Yeah, you know what? I completely agree with you on that. Like, I'm sorry. People could say that maybe we're projecting because obviously we really like Show and we don't care for Yo. But when you see Yo come out and pop his pecs and have the jacket and everything else, like, yeah, that's 90s Shawn Michaels. And,
Mm-hmm.
I know they call Juice Robinson flamboyant, and I fucking love Juice, and God, I miss him so fucking much every goddamn New Japan event we cover that he's not on. But yeah, like Yo has got that cocky swagger about him. Meanwhile, when you've seen Show's performances, especially when he went against
And
Shingo
Shingo,
for the Never
yes.
Openweight title, you wanted to root for the dude. He was having his coming out party and everybody was fucking invited.
Yep.
And you're like, man, what a freaking star. So I agree with you 1000%. That'll be an emphatic agreement from me. I think the alignments are all wrong in this. All wrong. I'd
I
kill for
wonder.
a double turn here.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if New Japan's aware of that, and maybe there's a chance we get a double turn here. I guess, really, I will say, I think a double turn is the one and only way that I would be open to accepting a Yo heel or a Yo victory here.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great. I'd love to know how, native Japanese crowds are like reacting to these guys. Because it's always interesting to me when you've told me like about like popularity polls and
Right.
stuff like that and who the top person is. I'd like to see who's above who here
Yeah.
because I, I've felt since Naito, right, that the climate is changing a little bit. And I just feel like with the way the culture is in New Japan today, Show might be what crowds gravitate to more. I could be wrong about that. I mean, God, guys, I don't even need to tell you about my track record when I say shit like this, but it's just an impression that I get. So, as far as predicting a winner, Show did win their last encounter. I want him to win this one too, but I got a sneaking feeling Yo's going to pull this one out.
Maybe.
So I'm going to go with Yo, and I fucking hate it.
Well, like I said, I'm willing to accept a Yo victory as long as it also means a double turn where we get our babyface Show, heel Yo. I doubt that'll happen. I don't know. I just think Show's going to win with the help from Dick Togo, but we'll see. I am going to predict Show to win. Probably already starting out 0-1, but we'll see. Second match on the official, like the main card, is Hiroshi Tanahashi and the Mega Coaches, which is Taguchi and Rocky Romero, versus the Bullet Club, represented by Kenta, Ishimori, and Phantasmo. Love to see ELP back. That's seriously a breath of fresh air. Just because you kind of made your prediction first last time, I'll go first this time. I'm actually picking Bullet Club to win this.
I agree with you, and I based that on absolutely nothing except that I like the heel team more, a lot more. Go Bullet Club.
Okay.
Fuck Taguchi.
I mean, yeah, fuck Taguchi and mild fuck Rocky Romero by association.
Wash your fucking ass, bitch. All right, that
was to Taguchi, by the way, not Rocky.
Yeah, maybe Rocky too. We don't know. He's wearing an eye patch. He probably gave himself what conjunctivitis. Yeah, pink eye. Fucking yeah. I'm gonna wash your ass too, bitch. Wash all your fucking asses.
Oh my god. Yeah. So I guess let's just move on. I don't know why they're doing random 6-man tag matches at Wrestle fucking Kingdom. Like, I don't get that.
That annoys me. Like that's why I'm saying, man, I can only go so high in my hype because so many pointless 6-mans I feel like are happening on this show, and I'm just like, why?
It's weird. All right, next match, another weird 6-man tag. We've got Naito, Sanada, and Ibushi from LIJ versus Ospreay, Okan, and Cobb from the United Empire. I mean, I love Naito and Sanada, but like one of these things is not like the other. Like you've got 5 G1 competitors and Bushi. United Empire's winning this.
Yeah, this is a preview for Cobb versus Naito and Sanada versus Okan. Sanada, who I think should have won G1 this year. Or last year, I guess. God, I got to get used to that. But it should be a fun 6-man tag, and it gets Ospreay back in, like, I guess, the New Japan swing of things before his title match on night 2, which I'm desperately hoping he loses, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, I think Bushi's eating the pin here 100%, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if Cobb pinned Bushi ahead of his match with Naito. And that's another match that the more I think about it, the more I think those two guys could do something really special together. Because Cobb has really been feeling himself this last year or so.
Yeah.
Like, I think, I got to say this. I can't stand fucking Ocean Spray, and you know that. But I think the Empire might be one of the best things to ever happen to Cobb's New Japan career. He has been on a whole other level. So I actually kind of hope he gets the winning pin here for his team at Bushi's expense. I, too, will go with the Empire here over LIJ. So,
Yeah. All right. Up next, we've got our Katsuyo Shibata return match, and it is
man.
yet to be announced who his opponent will be. But we do know, as you mentioned, that it will be contested under catch wrestling rules, which means that strikes are prohibited. Before we even try and guess who wins this, we should probably try and predict who it's going to be that his opponent is.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt it'll be. Well, no, it can't be Zach again because he's got the IWGP
Dangerous
Heavyweight Tag
Tekkers,
Title
yeah.
matchup with Goto and Yoshihashi.
Yep.
So
That's what, like, I even had a thought, like, maybe it'll be Goto, but then again, he also is in that same match, so it can't be him either.
Okay, can I just say somebody totally random and not be laughed at? Just because I really can't think of anybody.
Sure.
Sakuraba, maybe.
Dude, low key, I had the same name in my mind, actually.
I'll go with him since I literally can't think of anybody else.
I don't think he would be my
else,
number
dude.
one choice, but I could definitely see it being him for sure.
I mean, dude, Suzuki isn't on this card, right? Can we put him in the running, or I guess is he still in the States? Like,
yeah, I think Suzuki is in the running. I think I'm not 100% sure.
I'll go with Sakuraba though. That seems more
Here's
their
the thing:
speed.
we know Suzuki is gonna be on night 3, but he's not advertised for either of the first 2 nights, which could just mean he's in the New Japan Rumble and then in that 4-way King of Pro Wrestling match.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's funny that you know some stuff that's on night 3 because I couldn't find anything on night 3 when I searched it, even though we're only previewing predicting nights 1 and 2.
No, dude, it's literally like it's out there. Like New Japan, NJPW1972.com. You go to the schedule section and then they have the match lineup, or you can just pull up Wrestle Kingdom 16 on Wikipedia, and they have all 3 nights cards in full on them.
Yeah. All right, I'll have to look at that after just to get a really good look. But yeah, I'm gonna say Sakuraba just because again I can't really think of anybody else. So
the 2 other names that come to my mind, other than Suzuki and Sakuraba, are Kojima and Nagata. And I think Kojima is the least likely because he's very strike based offensively. But Nagata, I think, would be perfect because Nagata is very submission based, very technical. He could roll around with Shibata. He even beat Shibata for the Never Openweight title not that long ago. It was just a few years ago. And I think Nagata would be a great opponent for this match. How do you feel about that?
I agree with you. I think that's an excellent prediction. In fact, that seems far more likely than Sakuraba, so I'll actually join you on that it'll be Nagata.
Well, I will say Sakuraba is scheduled for night 3. So it's not like Sakuraba is absurd by any means. I do think that's a genuinely good pick. But again, I just have a feeling that it's going to be Nagata because they have history.
That's totally understandable. So now that we kind of have our thoughts out on that, we just think Shibata's going to win this, right?
Yes, that's what I was getting around to, was because it makes sense, because for Nagata, at least in my mind, Nagata beat Shibata for the Never Openweight title. Shibata, I don't think, ever got that win back. He gets it back here.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it's really amazing. I don't really know if like fans, globally speaking now, have really appreciated what Shibata overcame to even do this. Like, it's like, you know, I don't know. I'm not trying to make a deeper commentary here than what it is, but it's amazing to me how understated Shibata's story has been compared to like Brian or
Roman.
Sasha Banks with her mental health and stuff, and like Roman, you know, and those were all valid struggles, and we should celebrate all of them. I just feel like my man got done kind of dirty because, like,
I feel like maybe the reason is because he's not really coming back to a full-time capacity like all 3 of them have.
That's true. But I hope, you know, it does seem like maybe they're warming up the pot a little bit for that.
If he does, though, I think that's when it's time to celebrate.
Oh, dude, I've straight up said, like, if he announces that he's returning full time, I don't give a fuck. It's Pro Wrestling 101. You have him win that year's G1 and win the fucking title. It's handed to you on a silver platter. Most emotional moment in recent wrestling history. But I'm happy for the dude, whether it's Sakuraba or Nagata, which I think was a brilliant guess on your part. I think Shibata wins this for sure. For sure. Can't wait for it. I think for night 1 anyway, this is what I'm most hyped about by far. By far. This is really emotional, I think, for a lot of people experiencing it.
Yeah. Very exciting.
All right, then we get to our never openweight championship match:
Yep, the final four
Ishii
on these
versus
days
Evil.
both look very interesting. But yeah, Ishii Evil.
I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna keep it quick. Evil wins.
Yep.
I think he's gonna cheat to win. Yeah, and he'll be the
Yeah.
new never openweight champion.
Dude, here's the thing. I agree, but I'm okay with it because it's the never open weight title. Like, Evil can have that. It's okay. Let Ishii move on. Let Ishii go after the world title. Let Ishii have other things to do. Shit. Maybe Goto and Yoshihashi fail to win the tag titles, and then Ishii's like, hey, Goto, you want a real man as your partner? And we get Ishii and Goto going after Dangerous Tekkers. I'd be down for that too. I think that Evil winning here is not a bad thing. I'm down for it, and I agree that
No,
it's probably going to happen.
I'm honestly down for it too because I think you made a very worthwhile point that this is the lane that Evil should be in.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've never liked when Ishii's never openweight champion because that fetters my imagination to like the course that he's on. Whereas when he doesn't have a title, I'm like, oh, anything can happen. Like, if the worst case scenario happens with the world title, which we'll get to that, I'd at least have some satisfaction if Ishii would walk up to Ospreay and like slap the fucking taste out of his mouth. I live for that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, take the fucking title. He's won it a million fucking times. Have fun with it. Evil for never openweight champion. That's simple.
All right. Then we get to our seventh match, sixth on the main card. Dangerous Tekkers defending the world tag titles against Chaos, Goto, and Yoshihashi. And I really, honestly, New Japan, if you give this to Yoshihashi, I will lose so much fucking faith in you. It is actually alarming. Dangerous Tekkers better fucking retain.
I don't know if it's the cynic in me, but get ready to lose some faith, brother, because I do think they're going to give this to Yoshihashi. They seem fascinated with him for reasons I'll never understand. Like, keep in mind, they won the tag league to get this spot, which means Yoshihashi actually won a tournament of some kind. That never sits right with me. Goto's okay. With Goto, I find if you give him an opponent like Ishii or whatever, he does really good shit. But if you sack him with somebody like Yoshihashi and then you do the stuff with Taichi and Zack, and I actually do like Taichi and Zack, although to be honest, I think I prefer them in singles ultimately. It's going to be more of a meh effort to me.
Yeah.
But I actually think Goto and Yoshihashi are fucking winning this, and I don't like it because I don't like the idea that Yoshihashi gets pushed when he is one of the most average to really just mediocre people I think New Japan employs.
Yeah.
I hate it. I just hate it.
Can we just put Yoshihashi, Chase Owens, Yujiro, and David Finlay on a shuttle pod to the sun and act like they never existed?
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a lot of effort, but honestly, the payout would be pretty great, so I'm for it.
You know what? I forgot the most important one, Taguchi. Throw him on there too.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I really do believe Yoshihashi and Goto are going to do this because, like, they, are they still 2/3 of the, who are the never openweight 6-man tag champions? Let me pull up
the never
Night 2.
Openweight 6-man tag team champions are House of Torture. It's Evil, Yujiro, and Show.
See, and yeah, Goto, Hashi, and Yo are going to be challenging for them on Night 2. So I don't see them being double champions, that being Goto and Yoshihashi.
Right.
So I've got to pick one for them to win. I'm going with this. You know, it might be the wrong pick. Wouldn't surprise me if it was. But yeah, I just don't see it happening for them. And I mean the never openweight 6-man tag titles. Yeah. This I do see happening for them though, because Yoshihashi already did the never openweight stuff. So I feel like this is him taking it at another level because New Japan wants to push him for reasons, again, that I will never understand. And I don't want to understand because that would mean something is wrong with me. So Goto and Yoshihashi for the win, very unfortunately.
All right, then we get to our semi-main of Night 1, El Desperado defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship against Hiromu.
I will say, I think this is going to be a really fucking good match. How are you feeling about it?
These guys always deliver. I feel like these two always have great matches with each other. I mean, we've seen at least 2 or 3 that were like basically match of the year contenders, or at least in that conversation. So I've got a high bar for this match, and I hope it clears it.
Yeah, I'm right there fucking with you, man. Look, like I said, I stand by what I said about Hiramu. I think the world of the dude. I know you do too. But, I can't be an asshole and be like, the match is going to suck. I've always liked Despy. In fact, until recently, I thought Desperado was, underutilized by the company a bit. So it's really nice to see, that he's been a junior tag champion and now the junior heavyweight champion. I think he's a great heel. And I mean an actual heel, not an, oh, I want to be that guy. No, this dude's an asshole and I love it. I think, we need more of that. I think this is going to be a barn burner. Low key might be the match of night one. I think people, myself included, might even be sleeping on this a little bit. Actually struggling with this one a little bit, but you know what? I'm going to be a bit more unconventional. I'm going to say El Desperado retains. I don't think Hiramu's going to win the title back.
You know what? I appreciate your creativity, but I don't think New Japan shares it. I'm picking Hiramu to win.
That is 1,000% understandable. Yeah, for sure.
All right, now we get to the main event, and in my opinion, the most important match of all three shows combined, and arguably one of, if not the most important match in years as far as the fate of New Japan Pro Wrestling goes. Shingo Takagi defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against the G1 Climax winner, Kazuchika Okada.
Yes. Hell, you gave it that kind of intro. I think it's only fitting that you talk about this match first. What are your expectations, and ultimately, what's your prediction?
Let me tell you why this match is so important to me as far as the fate of New Japan goes, right? Because in my mind, if Okada wins that title, he's defending it and beating Ospreay the next night. He's successfully keeping it. I don't know how long he'll keep it for, but I would expect him to keep it until at least like Sakura Genesis, which maybe they can redeem themselves this year. If Okada is the champion going into the show, they get my benefit of the doubt, But if Shingo wins this match, if he retains that title against Okada, which is the more likely option, unfortunately, because G1 winners very rarely actually are able to turn their G1 win into a world title win. It's only happened, I think, twice at this point. It's the last 2 years, I want to say. But if Shingo does retain, I think he's dropping that thing to Ospreay on night 2. I think we're only going to have one world title change this weekend, and it's either going to be Shingo to Okada, and then Okada retains against Ospreay, or Shingo retains against Okada and then drops it to Ospreay. So really, I shouldn't say only one. I should say exactly one. I think we are going to get exactly one world title change this weekend, or this week, I should say. And it is either going to be Okada or Ospreay walking out of Wrestle Kingdom with that world title. And if it's Okada, my faith starts getting built back up and restored. And if it's Ospreay, it stays in the gutter.
Yeah, I think you articulated it perfectly. I mean, damn, how do I even follow up on that? This is something I've wanted to get off my chest. I have no problem with Shingo. I enjoy Shingo. I think the dude has fucking quality-ass matches. Hell, I'm sure this match will be fucking incredible. But I'm sorry. Maybe I'm in a weird lane lately, given my comments about Julia and now this. I never really bought Shingo as a world champion. Now, maybe when he comes out of Wrestle Kingdom and he's doing the damn thing with Okada, he'll make me believe the same way, and I don't know if Chiefin's still here. I bought LJ Cleary mid-match as a guy that, like, oh yeah, Haskins, like, be on him. You got to be on him, otherwise he's going to win that OTT title, when before he was, like, kind of an undercard tag team guy. So, I'm not saying that can't happen for Shingo, where I'm like, you know what, I see what everybody else has been seeing. He really carries himself like a champion. I believe it. But when he won it, I was like, oh, that's an interesting choice, especially when Naito, Sonata, and several others are right there. And here's the thing, too. You have to affirm experimentation, right? Because you can't be caught in a cul-de-sac of these are the guys that we have a rotation on the title with. I like when you can break the mold. In hindsight, I hated Jinder's reign, right, and that he won it. But I still affirm the sentiment behind it of, like, let's go with a new guy in WWE standards. Evil the same way. I wanted to keep an open mind to it. But now comes the really honest part for me. Okada needs to win this, and he needs to walk out of this damn event with the world title. because to me, you get a guy, you get the title on him, you get the face back on it, and I think it just kind of stabilizes a lot of shit. I don't know what the fuck happened ever since they introduced that new title. I think it's cursed. I want Okada to drop that shit in the garbage after he hopefully retains against Ospreay. If that happens, I'm not optimistic, as you guys could tell throughout the commentary. But
I think it would
I
be
think you need a
really
hard
cool if
reset.
they did Okada's IWGP World Title, which he's been kind of still carrying around and wearing and acting like his, still his own, versus Ospreay's IWGP World Title, which he, I believe, is also carrying around in America and the UK and shit, and acting like it's his own and saying like, oh, he's defending it against all these people that he has no right to defend it against because he's not the actual champion. So like these two quote unquote fake or pretender champions, Okada wins the real thing, but he keeps his version of the belt, and then we get that version of the belt against Ospreay's version of the belt. I think that's a cool story because then basically you've got three belts in play because Shingo has the real thing, Okada has the real old thing that isn't technically his. That is, why he's a pretender, and then Ospreay has his title that he never technically lost, that he isn't technically the champion of anymore, but he still has the physical belt. So like all three guys have a championship going into this show. Okada could literally walk out as only being the world champion, but still somehow having three title belts.
And that's the reality I fucking want.
Yes.
Do I think it'll happen though? Because I haven't formally given a prediction yet, only ranting and raving about my desires. Which who the fuck's here for that, right? So, I mean, I'm not optimistic either way when it comes to night two, and we'll get to that. But for the time being, I am going to go with Okada to beat Shingo. So I will go that far. I will go that far. Okada will beat Shingo and be the new IWGP World Champion. I don't know if we should call him the interim champion because he's still not fully until he gets out of the woods completely. But I think he will get past Shingo. So
yeah, it's one of those things where I have sort of two sets of thoughts here. I have two states of mind. I could either be sort of the somber, grounded, I don't like it, but this is probably what New Japan's going to do kind of mindset. And then I have the fuck the world, Okada for everything mindset that I really want to go with. So just kind of to, again, double down, the winner of Okada, or actually, let me rephrase that. If Okada wins this match, he keeps the title. He retains it against Ospreay. If Shingo wins this match, he drops it to Ospreay. Those are my official, dependent predictions. Like, obviously, those aren't solid. I think I'm gonna double down with you, John. I'm gonna say Okada wins here, and he's gonna retain against Ospreay then too. That's my official going all out prediction.
all right, then that closes out night one
I
on.
really hope that we nail this because if they go the other way, I'm gonna be so fucking disappointed by them.
Well, I'm immediately unsubbing from New Japan World if they go the other way. I'm telling you right now. Like, I resub so that we can watch this no problem and everything, of course. And it's always good to financially support wrestling when you're able to. But yeah, I'm immediately unsubbing and it can go fuck itself. I'm done playing games, man. If I'm not entertained by something, like, I'm not going to pussyfoot around. I think WWE finally broke me and now everybody else is suffering the consequences. So I'm on the night two card, though. Junior heavyweight tag title matchup. We've got
We do have like
challengers.
a random TBA versus TBA match on the dark on the pre-show. I know literally nothing about that though, so let's just talk about what you were about to.
Yeah, that's why I just kind of skipped that because I didn't even see that on. I'm literally looking at New Japan's website. That's why I just went straight to this.
Yeah.
We've got Ishimori and Phantasmo versus the champions Robbie Eagles and Tiger Mask. What a weird fucking team. Versus Taguchi and Rocky Romero. Fuck it. I'll go Taguchi and Rocky Romero to win this. Junior tag titles mean nothing. Why the fuck not? I've really got nothing to say beyond that.
The only thing I agree about is that the titles are probably changing hands. Let me check the history of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Titles because I think, actually, I know they change hands very often at Wrestle Kingdom, but I'm more wondering if. Oh, they have. Okay. Bullet Club's cutest tag team have already held those titles. Mega coaches haven't, so I guess I'm gonna have to jump on there with you and say mega coaches win. I hate it, but makes sense.
All right. Brother, I do have to step out for a few moments. But we do have the Stardom matchup, and I just thought you could talk about that first, since I know you and I could talk about Stardom all day.
Yeah.
So, Stardom tag matchup is next. I'll be back as soon as I can.
All right. So up next, we've got Mayu Iwatani and Starlight Kid versus Tam Nakano and Sayakamitani. Mayu and Kid are former tag team partners, but Kid was recently, just in 2021, lost to the heel faction in Stardom. For those of you that don't keep up with it, Oedo Tai. And she initially didn't like it. She didn't want to go along with it, but eventually she actually embraced it. And after she kind of embraced it, Mayu won a 5-on-1 handicap match to win Starlight Kid back, but Kid elected to stay in Oedo Tai. So Kid is now effectively a full-blown heel and arguably even the leader of Oedo Tai. And now she has to team with Mayu again. So that's a very interesting dynamic. And Tam Nakano is the former Wonder of Stardom champion because her tag partner in this match, Sayakamitani, just beat her for the Wonder of Stardom championship literally like 5 days ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 days ago. Kamitani beat Tam for that title. Tam trained Sayakamitani. Kamitani was part of a sort of trial. I don't even know how to. It's almost like an experimental training program that was called Stardom Idols, I believe, where they were trying to have an actual idol group formed out of Stardom trainees. And the two women that really came out of that ended up actually trying to wrestle were Sayakamitani and another woman named Itsuki Hoshino. Hoshino ended up retiring very early into her career. I don't think she even lasted a year. Kamitani, though, has been very successful. She was a sort of a super rookie. She actually won Goddess of the Goddesses, which are Stardom's tag titles, the Goddesses of Stardom championships, within her rookie year, literally before she was in wrestling for a full year. So Kamitani very successful for her lack of experience level. And she's going to be teaming with Tam, who is kind of the opposite. Tam's a little bit of a late bloomer. She got into wrestling in her mid 20s, I believe. And she literally just started wrestling in like 2016. But already, like, 5 years into her career, she's arguably the best wrestler on the fucking planet, or at the very least, the best female wrestler on the planet. She is a match of the year machine. Last year alone, she had multiple match of the year candidates, including, the match with Sayakamitani to close the year. And again, now they're going to be teaming. So, John, it sounds like you're back.
I am back. Who did you pick as a winner, just so I have your official prediction?
Dude, I've spent this entire time just giving background on the match for people that don't keep up with Stardom.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, education's always a powerful thing. So who ultimately are you picking now that I'm back?
Just based on the ability to coexist, I'm going to go with Tam and Saya here.
You know what? Okay, so now let me give a rundown since I had to take care of that. Thank you very much, everybody, for your patience, and Asher for covering me there. I think this is going to be stellar. I think this is going to be an awesome tag match. I think you've got four of the very best that Stardom currently has on their roster. And you guys already know I gave Mayu and Starlight Kid my on-screen relationship of the year for year-end awards 2021.
We both did.
We both did. Oh yeah, I forgot that was one that we shared actually. So yeah, we both are feeling that. Tam and Saya, I gave huge praise to that feud. I said Tam practically made Saya. I feel like after Saya beat Tam at Dream Queendom, I buy her as a future main eventer, without a fucking doubt. I see her winning the red belt within 3 years. So I think you get these four very amazing women. And yeah, ultimately, I'm going to agree with you about Tam and Saya, but not just on the coexisting point, but because they really made a big deal out of Saya, like, wanting to be in this match and Utami's expectation of her, like, come back with the win, because I wanted to be in the Tokyo Dome, but I'm giving this to you. So, yeah, Tam and Saya for the win, for sure.
You can't have Sayakamitani in a Stardom showcase match and not have her do the Phoenix Splash.
Exactly. And especially relative to, like, last year, she's come such a long way. Like, to me, she might be like the most credible person in them. Like I know Mayu's like the ace and Tam's like fucking amazing, but just from like a what have you done lately kind of thing,
Yeah.
she's the Wonder of Stardom champion.
Yep.
Like so, yeah, that team's got to win. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Tam and Saya.
There is a very strong possibility that just to give people a real taste of how Stardom is in reality, they might go to a TLD if they have like a 20-minute time limit. They might just have a 20-minute TLD match.
God, that would be quintessential Stardom. Can you imagine?
I know, but I think if the match does have a finish, it'll be Kamitani pinning Kid with Phoenix.
Yeah.
So, all right, just a littlest taste of revenge over that Oedo tie, for the Momo thing. All right.
Yeah.
Up next is the 4-way KOPW thing. I'm just gonna pick Yano to win it. I don't care. He hasn't been announced for anything else, so maybe it'll just be that he gets to do.
Yeah, co-sign on that.
All right, House of Torture. The never openweight 6-man tag champs, Evil, Yujiro, and Sho, defending against Chaos, consisting of Goto, Yoshihashi, and Yo. I'm picking Chaos to win here because I think that Goto and Yoshihashi are going to lose the tag titles and then come back here with Yo, who I think will also lose to Sho on day one, and as a trio, get a little bit of a measure of revenge by winning the never openweight 6-man tag titles.
Yeah, you know what? I can definitely see where you're coming from. I'm just going to go with House of Torture to retain, though, given my predictions on night one. And so, yeah, I think House of Torture will hold on to these titles for just a bit longer.
All right. Next up, we've got our big 4 quadruple sort of main event. Really, it's like, 2 main events and then 2 kind of undercard type main events. Sonata, one-on-one with the Great Okan.
You know what? I like Great Okan, so this is nothing against him. Sonata better fucking win this. I am really fucking tired of the pussyfooting with Sonata. Put your foot on the fucking gas and run with this goddamn dude. I want him to be main eventing Wrestle Kingdom 17 next year for sure. Like I'm ready for it. I've been ready for it, and so I just want him to get this win. Okan again, great talent. I actually think he too might have a bright future down the road, a definite future never openweight champion in my mind. But the focus should be Sonata right now to me. So I am adamantly picking Sonata here.
I agree that the focus should be Sonata, but I don't think he's going to win this particular match. I'm going to pick Okan to win here. I think Sonata's momentum might even begin this year with a Wrestle or a New Japan Cup victory.
Yeah. All right.
So I think he's gonna kind of be cooled off until they decide to really put the the jets on for him, and that might start with a New Japan Cup win. We'll see. Next match, we've got Naito versus Cobb. I'm not even going to try and beat around the bush. Cobb's winning this.
I agree with you. I think New Japan, one of the things that I think they really did get right this year, although I know people like Chiefin would think that they didn't go far enough, and that's understandable. The push they've given Cobb was one of the few bright spots that New Japan has had lately. And I don't think that push stops here. I love me some Naito. I still feel like the man hasn't gotten the world title run that he deserves, which is crazy given that, he did get crowned at a Wrestle Kingdom. But, yeah, I think it's Cobb's time right now. He's got a lot more momentum. So Cobb for the win.
Yeah, I think it's also probably worth noting that Naito's injury took him out of action for almost 2 months. And he's only been back for like a month and a half now. So, I love Naito, and I don't want to insult him, but this kind of feels like a borderline crippled old man going against Cobb in his basically prime.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's almost hard to imagine Naito beating Cobb in the condition he's in,
Yeah, for sure.
So
for sure.
Next up, though, we've got our semi-main event. Kenta defending the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship against Hiroshi Tanahashi. John, curious how you feel about this.
I, for one, am proud to have a United States champion that is exactly like me, in terms of how he pronounces things and everything else. First time I felt patriotism in, multiply by 5, carry the 1, ever. So, yeah, because of that, I have no choice but to go with Kenta to retain here. And I've never really made fun of Tanahashi. Everybody on here knows that I'm a really good person, I'm really respectful to the people that paved the way. And so, no disrespect to Tanahashi, but you might be a little too old for this challenge. I don't know. I'm just saying. It's just people talk, right? So Kenta to retain for sure.
Is it possible to win a match via trolling? Because if so, Kenta would be undefeated.
That's, I fucking wish, dude. And yes, you're 1,000% right. But in all seriousness, really, there are a few matches on night 2 that I feel like could steal the show. That maybe be slept on a little bit. I do think Naito Cobb is one, just to recourse back to that real quick. But this is another one. Sonata Okan, possibly, because I do like how Okan works, and Sonata, like I said, like he's the Bret Hart to me of New Japan. Everything he does looks so good, except he's far more scintillating and charismatic. Yeah. He's like an improved version of Bret Hart. But this is another matchup, Tanahashi Kenta. I think these guys could really do. Yeah. I think these guys could do great stuff in that ring, really make magic in there. But I don't want Kenta's reign to end, and apparently I just saw this is a no disqualification match. So
it sure is. I actually missed that. Good call out.
Thanks, friend. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Kenta here. I have no idea who challenges him for it after this. But hey, I'm just enjoying the ride. So Kenta to retain.
I'm hoping that Kenta goes to the US after this. I would love to see him defend that title once or twice in AEW.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's time to get to our main event of the entire, 2-night affair that we've been talking about here, and that is the winner of Shingo Okada versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Probably worth noting here, since I personally have Okan and Cobb both winning earlier in the night, that gives the United Empire an opportunity to get a clean sweep if Ospreay were to win this. Whereas in your case, you have Okan losing, so that's not a possibility.
Yeah, but here's where I'm just fucking miserable. is I'm picking Ospreay to get the title back. I hate it, but I'm picking him to get the title back.
But didn't you pick Okada to win the title in the first place?
I picked Okada to beat Shingo.
One day?
Yes.
That's so not New Japan.
Well, neither was Sakura Genesis 2021 until it happened. So yeah, I don't even know what not New Japan even is anymore, to be honest. I think he's getting it back because I think the bigger story, the larger feud that envelops this whole thing is Okada Ospreay. This all really got rolling when Ospreay turned on Okada and beat him in their G1 matchup. What was it, like last year, 2 years ago? I don't fucking know. And then
it was 2020, I believe.
Yeah. So, and then, Wrestle Kingdom last year was fucking Okada Ospreay. That was your finish of the year because of the whole story leading up to that. And now they're running it back here.
Ospreay hasn't lost a singles match since then.
Exactly. And I think he's going to get his Wrestle Kingdom win back over Okada here for the title. I think Shingo, and this is going to be disrespectful as hell, but I think Shingo's an inconvenience. That's why he just loses on night 1, because he's not a part of this grander narrative. Okada is. But Okada, because he has this vision for New Japan and he wants to get it back on track, Ospreay's like, well, I have something to say about that because I won that new championship and I never really got to make it what I wanted to make of it. So fuck you, I'm winning. I'm completely cynical about this. I think Okada beats Shingo on night 1, and then Ospreay beats Okada on night 2. Now, do I hope against all hope that I'm wrong? Hell the fuck yes. I'm hoping my track record just gorges on this shit. But
can I ask you a question?
Yeah. Sure.
If you think, wait, no, okay. So you're basically, your whole thing is the story is basically revolving around Ospreay and him getting his Wrestle Kingdom win back, getting the title back, and getting to have a proper reign that doesn't get cut short by injury, right?
Yes.
Okay. God, in my opinion, if you think that the long-term goal is for Ospreay to be champion again, I think Shingo has to retain against Okada and then lose the title to Ospreay. I don't think it makes any sense for Okada to beat Shingo and then immediately drop the title to Ospreay.
I mean, look, man, I agree with you. I just feel like New Japan will want to run that match back because it was on Wrestle Kingdom last year. I think it's going to be a trilogy, and that's another thing that pisses me off, by the way, is I feel like this is like going to be a Wrestle Kingdom type trilogy. Okada won last year. Ospreay's going to win this year. And then I would hope that it's not for the world title, but let's be real, it probably will be. Wrestle Kingdom 17, they'll run back Okada Ospreay again. It'll be one of those trilogies that New Japan does. And, you know, that's kind of the sense I get from it. Again, I could be wrong.
I don't know if you know
but,
this, but it took Okada like 3 or 4 tries to beat Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know, it wasn't like I immediately get my win back. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think New Japan, they seemed all in on Ospreay. When you look at how his title reign started with him dominating Ibushi, I feel like they want to get back on that. I think they just look at Ospreay as like, that's our guy. We like a heel champion because that gets heat and more people will pack an arena to see a guy get beat, you know, especially that's an asshole, than to see a guy win. Bonus points if you can do both. Have a beloved babyface and a fucking shitty heel. That's just how I see it going. I really don't know what else to tell you. I just see Ospreay getting the title back. I hate it. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just what my gut's telling me, and I got to go with my gut. So.
All right, yeah. I mean, absolutely, man. You got to go with your gut. I'm not going to try and argue with you on that. I'm just, damn. It's you're really like. I feel like you're like 3/4 of the way down a black hole that ends in you just not wanting to watch wrestling anymore.
I mean, not wrestling anymore when Stardom exists. Wrestling is a very broad term.
Right, that's fair.
But
it just
yeah,
like just
that.
the way that like you're just like so against watching AEW, and now you're kind of closing in on that for NXT, and now it feels like you're closing in on that for New Japan too. It just feels like everything that isn't Stardom is starting to become like exponentially less interesting for you.
Yeah, and it definitely is. It definitely is. Again, though, I mean, if Okada can pull this shit off, holla fucking Luya, and then I'll be excited for G1 next year or this year, because you know I do hope. I don't know what the COVID situation will be, you know, because right now I know we're dealing with the Omicron variant and stuff like that, but I'm hoping that we can get a fucking Danielson in a G1 like we've talked about. We can get Juice back in there, Suzuki back in there. I don't want to lose faith in New Japan, and I can even say that going through this card and thinking about some of the good matches, like yeah, a 7.5 out of 10 feels more honest. I just worry about that main event scene, man. I don't feel good about that main event scene. And so yeah, that's just where I'm at right now. I hope I'm wrong again. I'd love to see Okada as world champion again. I know Angel's a huge Okada fan, and he will be watching Wrestle Kingdom with us, which has me psyched. I just don't see it. I just don't see it ending well. So we'll see. But
it's just so funny though, because like in my mind, the one thing that absolutely will not happen at Wrestle Kingdom is exactly what you described. You think is going to happen. Like in my mind, there's either going to be exactly one title change where Okada wins from Shingo and then retains against Ospreay, or Shingo retains against Okada and then loses to Ospreay. Or the big twist in my mind would be if Shingo just retained on both nights. Someone actually said that in the chat, and I was like, you know what? I could actually see that happening. I don't think it's likely. I would give it maybe like a 5% chance likelihood. I don't think it's very likely, but I could see it happening. I could see New Japan doing that and really wanting to stand by Shingo. But I think that the one option that absolutely will not happen is the exact one that you're describing as your prediction, which is a title change on both nights. I don't think Okada wins if the goal is for Ospreay to walk out as champion. I think Shingo retains, and then the whole story is, oh, Shingo, you're the motherfucker that won the fraudulent title that I never lost to begin with. Now I'm here to take it back. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So like, yeah, that's like my whole thing. So yeah,
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Ibushi fits into this scheme when he gets back, because I feel like Ibushi won't be done with this business either. Because Okada, I'm not saying Okada didn't get a legitimate win, right? It's not like he cheated or anything, but it was so abrupt because Ibushi got injured. It was a ref stoppage. So if Okada does retain the title, if he wins it and retains it, I should say, because it's across 2 nights. I think one of the big programs of 2022 for New Japan, which I am 1,000% behind, would be him versus Ibushi for the world title. And Ibushi just being like, hey, you know, we never really got to have a proper G1 final match. Let's settle it. Again, I would love that. I'm just not. New Japan's got to show me that that's where they're going. Because I don't know. But that again, that's just what my gut's saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Wrestle Kingdom both nights. And yeah, I've got really nothing else to say. My hype still stands, I think, at a 7 out of 10. I think there are some sleeper matches that could really come up and steal the show.
You know,
The
it's
only thing
really
that really terrifies
unfortunate
me is,
that
yeah.
Yoshi is injured because his presence would really help these shows, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know who else's
Ibushi's very
presence
missed.
would really help these fucking shows is Jay Goddamn White. Where the fuck is he? That's what I want to know.
That's, dude, the idea that we went a whole preview predictions and not even mention him until the very end is a fucking travesty. Because you want to talk about another guy like, dude, replace Ospreay with Jay White, and I really don't give a fuck who wins. Because like I love me some Jay White.
You replace Ospreay with Jay White, and all of a sudden my hype level for this entire show goes from like 7.5, maybe 8 to like 8.5. Solid.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you, man. Like, yeah, I think my hype would go up a whole point as well to like an 8. Really, if we're being honest, just structurally, the weakest part of this Wrestle Kingdom is all the 6-man tag matches and just all the tag matches just in general.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know, New Japan. Maybe I need to have a little bit more faith. Maybe this is a me problem. But if it does go with Ospreay, fuck, man. Fuck. Well, we'll see. We're reacting to it tomorrow at 3, Wednesday at 3, and then what time are we going live Saturday? Have we decided on a time together, you and I? What should we do about that?
I thought 5 would be good if you were okay with that.
5's fine. Knock it out. Get it out there. That's cool with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, join us tomorrow at 3.
Dude, the crazy thing is Saturday is the biggest card of the 3.
Yeah, oh my god.
Tomorrow
I really need to take a look at that.
Tomorrow is 8 matches plus a dark match. The next day is 8 matches plus a dark match. Saturday is 9 matches plus 2 dark matches.
Jesus.
Yeah, Saturday they've got 11 total matches planned, whereas the other 2 days is 9 each. So it could be the longest of the 3 shows. I don't know. I mean, it probably won't be because you know New Japan. You know that their main event is going to go 50 minutes between entrances and then the post-match celebration, and their semi-main is going to go 40. Like, it's just their structure. Their last 2 matches tend to go around an hour and a half, which is fucking ridiculous and excessive, and that's like one of the biggest problems with the company, but that's just how they do. I don't know if I would expect night 3 to have a similar structure. I think they're going to treat that more like kind of a specialized house show almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see. I'm looking forward to reacting to that, though. I'm very curious about it. And I see Sho is, I believe, literally the only person on the main card for night 3 with a singles match from New Japan. And he's going against Ashi Kotoge.
All right. Good shit. Well, we'll see what happens. I am seeing on my Twitter a lot of people are hyped for Shibata, and that definitely, like, that makes me smile. Seeing that Shibata's going to be coming back. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for joining us, guys. Be sure to leave a like as you file out. Subscribe. Click the bell icon for notifications so you never get missed out of that show. Oh, goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. And, yeah, that's it for me. So, Ashton, you can take us home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you all enjoyed this preview predictions. If you did, remember to like John said, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, follow us on Twitter and Twitch, and if you'd like to support us, you can also subscribe on Twitch, buy our merch on Teespring, or I guess it's just Spring now. Donate to our Patreon and share this channel and this video with all your wrestling fan friends and let them in on the best kept secret in the YouTube and Twitch wrestling communities. That's right, we are TwitWow and we are the workhorses of the YNTWCs, and we will be seeing you all tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for our live reactions to Wrestle Kingdom 16 Day 1, and then on Wednesday, same time, same show, just night 2. Then we don't have anything planned for Thursday or Friday. We do have an NXT live reaction tomorrow night as well. Going to be live reacting to New Year's Evil. But then Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Day 3, it's New Japan versus Pro Wrestling Noah. I'm pretty excited about that. I hope that we get introduced to a bunch of new guys that we're unfamiliar with, that we end up really liking. Plus, we're going to get to see, Nakajima and Muto and Marufuji. So there's some familiar guys that we're going to be able to see that we already know we enjoy. So that should be fun. We hope to see you all for that and everything else that I just listed. And of course, in order for that to happen, you're going to have to remember to stay tuned.